Hello. Sorry, Sam, I'm online.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, sorry about that. I'm 15 minutes later than I thought I was going to be. My granddad used to say, there's a lot can slip betwixt the cup and the lip. Now, I don't know if he made that up, but I think it means there's a lot can go wrong between you picking up your cup and it getting to your lips. So, when I said I'll be on in 20 minutes, then it was like all hell broke loose. We're back at school today, homeschooling, and thank God my husband's off work as well. His van blew up yesterday, so not that I'm pleased his van blew up, but it just means that he's going to be off work, which is brilliant for me because it means I can turn up for you guys. Because sometimes it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because I have such a lot to say. Someone's watching. Can you hear me? I'm always terrified that people can't hear and I ramble on. I hope you can. So, are you homeschooling today? Are you hiding? Are you hiding somewhere watching me instead of homeschooling? It's quite a good setup we've got this time. We're in a different school than we were before. And to be honest, I've got a lot more faith in this school. We just have to be online. Hi, Samantha. How are you? What time is it where you are? I'm confused because usually you get up at the end of my day. So you haven't gone to bed yet? I'm really confused. Tell me, what time is it where you are? Yes. Yes, what? So you're still up. You haven't gone to bed yet. Yes, it's yesterday or is it tomorrow? Out of that. Or is it later today? It's later today. When I met my husband, right? Oh, so much to tell you. But when I first met my husband, I had already booked my tickets to go travelling in Australia. And so we were only like 5 weeks into a relationship and I went away for 3 months. And so I used to phone him and it was so hard because there was always a delay on the line and I was always like either pissed and he was sober or I was sober and he was pissed. We couldn't get it right. It was horrible. Also, it's 8:20 at night. You're in bed, living the dream. Yes, you can hear us. Brilliant. I guessed that. I guessed you could hear us. So we're lovely to see you. This might be a really good time for me to come on and put you to bed. So, Sam, have you had a drink tonight? Tell me. Here I am, your sober coach, putting you to bed. That's hilarious. Oh, I should come on in the morning to see you. But my reason for coming on, hang on a minute. Are you alright?
Yeah, fine.
Sorry. So yes, so we're just logged in and we've got William who's in year 6. He's doing, what's William doing, Gwell?
He's doing classwork club.
He's doing classwork, but what subject do we know?
Oh, no.
We don't even know.
No.
He's just logged on and he's away. And I'm like, my God, we could be anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? If the school would let us do this, we could be absolutely anywhere. I think it could work for me. Like, I love it. And then we've got Sam, who he's just got logged on. He was a bit behind because he didn't have his password, but he's now logged on. And then the teacher's given him 2 sets of maths questions, and he's got a timer. He's started his timer for 35 minutes, and then he's got to mark his own work. And I know he won't cheat. He won't cheat. And then we've got Quill, who's now the classroom assistant, who's just bringing everyone drinks and snacks. It's great. I love it. Oh, hello, Daniel. This is a good time to catch you as well. Are you going to come on and do that Zoom call with me? I really want a bit banter with you, Daniel. We'll have such a laugh. We'll inspire so many people. All the women will love you, Daniel. Come on. Well, we're making an exception. I mean, I do get lots of messages of people want this service for men. right? But I wouldn't change any of it. I would still stick with me 5 pals. I don't know if we could create 5 different types of blokes. Daniel, you could do that. We could get you involved in that, Daniel. What could he be called? Stuck Simon. Happy New Year. Stuck Simon, Observing Oliver, Bold Bobby. Why are they're all like old-fashioned names, aren't they? Engaging with Eddie. And Roger's rebalanced. Yes, we need that. Because I think a lot of men, you know, are more impressed with this, or they say out loud, my God, I wish I could do that. A lot of the women who are, if I meet someone and if I say, oh, I don't drink, the women are really quite taken aback at first, and they're a little bit suspicious. And the men are like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. Don't know why that is. I think it does prickle people, doesn't it, when you change your life. 18 months tomorrow. Wow. Oh, Daniel, that's brilliant. There must be a delay. 18 months. Denial, Dan. No. Dedicated, Dan. You're fantastic. Oh, well done. Can you believe it? I mean, I want to tell everyone our story, because Daniel was a tenant. I used to run a property management business, and I showed Daniel around a property, and we just clicked straight away. I fell in love with him. He's just lush, and we kept in touch. And then we realised we were both kind of on the same journey, weren't we, Daniel? And I think I was a few months ahead, and it was so nice because, I don't know, I just felt like that connection with you straight away. And yeah, we did a few park runs, and we would go for walks together and out for coffee, and it was lush, wasn't it, having like a sober friend. And then I met Sam, and Sam was introduced to Daniel, and it's like the little crew. We've got a little crew of people who've been in here for ages, and I want, my vision eventually is for you all to come to a retreat. I want to do a skills swap retreat, right? It's not going to be expensive, okay? I want it to be affordable. And I want we're all around the campfire swapping stories and swapping skills. Like there must be so much that we can all offer. Oh, hello, Angie. Look at me turning up at tea time, and you're all hanging out here through the day. And I think it was nice yesterday when I put on. I was so pleased that you just said you would catch up at any time, because, you know, I'm not the most organised person in the world, so it makes my life easier. Obviously, my kids are a little bit older, but they still need fed and stuff like that. But I do love that Gwil's at home this week. That's really going to help me out to turn up for you guys. So, what was I talking about? I'm talking to you about the 5 reasons you should keep going. Oh, Daniel, thank you. I miss you too. We're all good. We're all good, Daniel. I know the lockdown maybe through the days better. Yeah, I think we'll just play around with it and see. I want to inspire as many of you as I can. So there's 3 on. I think there was 9 on yesterday. So my phone keeps cutting off. No problem. Speak soon. See you soon, Daniel. But I want to talk to you if you're starting out on your journey, okay? There's people like Daniel in this group. So just shout out, you know, say what you're struggling with. And it might be something that somebody else comments in just that little gem of a little bit of advice, somebody who's going to show you a different way to look at the same situation. All right, so hang around and just make sure that you're using the space, use the group as much as you can, right? But 5 reasons you should keep going. Doesn't sound like any of you need this, but I'm sure there might be some lurkers that do. Okay, so hang on, I'm just going to see if I click onto there. Can I see? I don't know. I'll just read them off here. So reason number 1: if you have been finding yourself stood in your kitchen and you're trying to create the same buzz that you would get from a night out with your girlfriends or, your friends, and, the Prosecco feeling, I would always buy Prosecco so that you felt that little bit of a buzz, that extra giggle. Do you know what I mean? Like if the night was feeling a bit flat and you thought, oh, I just need something to pick me up, Prosecco was always the thing that I would use for that. And I think sometimes towards the end, when I started feeling that alcohol, like the words in that song, isn't it? It's a Bryan Adams song. The drink isn't working anymore. No, the drink ain't doing what it should. Daniel, you'll know that song. Come on, somebody put it on here. Find it on YouTube. The drink ain't doing what it should. If you find yourself in the kitchen and you're trying to create that same fizz and it's not happening, then maybe that's for you now to realise that it's a good time to put this down and keep going. If you remember that sensation of being stood in the kitchen thinking this isn't working in the same way that it used to, right? So that's reason number one. Reason number two, if you've been sat on your sofa feeling sorry for yourself, you're overweight, you know you're not the best of health, and you're just feeling sorry for yourself, now is the best time to start looking after your health. We all talk about the NHS, you all stood outside clapping for them, in the summer. So let's look at, maybe the impact on the NHS won't be directly now, but surely by us taking care of our own health, that's going to remove the impact on the NHS, right? So if you're stood clapping and then having a glass of wine, I feel that that's hypocritical, because if you really want to support the NHS, you need to start looking after your own health. And what better way is there than to do this and take responsibility for your own health, right? And as well, I think sometimes we're relying on others to make us happy. So yes, you might not be in a relationship, or you might not have the kids that you always thought you wanted to have, or your situation, like people have lost loved ones, and I know that things can be hard and can be tough, but you're relying on something to make you happy and it hasn't been working. So all I'm asking is for you to start looking at it and thinking, is this actually helping? I know I've got all of these problems. I know that my life is a bit, shitty, but having this drink isn't going to help. All it's going to do is make me feel so much worse, right? So it's about seeing it for what it is, and it might take 2 or 3 times that you slip up or that you go through that process. But then you have to have the strength and be honest enough with yourself to journal that out and question yourself. Did it work? You thought you were having that drink because you thought it was going to cheer you up. Did it cheer you up in the long run? And if it did, for how long? And how did it make you feel the next day? So we're looking at it for what it really is, rather than this putting it on some pedestal and thinking that it's the glue that's holding your whole life together. Because once you remove it, you very quickly find that it doesn't have the power over you that you believed that it had, right? Because you start feeling these other benefits, and you start mixing with other people who are sober and who are successful and who have smashed this, and they're not sitting at home biting their knuckles wishing that they could have that glass of wine. They've put it back in its place, and they could possibly take it or leave it, but their life is so much better without it that they're choosing to continue, right? God, that went off on a tangent. So number 3, maybe you've been curious about what you could achieve, so you need to continue with Dry January if you felt curious and thought, my God, if I had the extra energy, if I had the focus and the clarity and the energy to apply myself in that area of my life that I know it's been lacking, if I had that, what would that be in your career? Would it be, I don't know, would it be in relationships that you've got? If you could apply yourself in that area, It might be that you want to learn new skills, which would be connected to your career, or it could be just a hobby that you've always wanted to learn to play the guitar. So suddenly, instead of having this, borderline drink problem, you're someone who is learning to play the guitar, and you've now got a different identity that you can pick up and put on at any time, and you can choose that. It doesn't have to cost money. You can even if I think I used the example yesterday, if your dream is to go island hopping in Greece or something, plan it out, cost it out. How could you do it on a budget? How could you do it if it was luxurious travel? What restaurants would you eat in? What food would you try? So you can practically go there. You'll go to bed that night feeling you've been to that place. You could lose a day doing that. Nobody should be bored. You need to be more creative with your time. We've all got the same amount of time ahead of us, right? In the time I've stopped drinking, I've built this business. What are you going to achieve? What's possible for you? It's huge. It really, really is. When you've got the time and the energy to focus on what it is that you want. And this thing behind me, the vision board, that's all about learning about yourself and find out what it is that you want. So everyone's different. Make that be your goal. So instead of your goal being not to drink, mustn't drink, it's like, right, by the end of January, I'm going to find out who I am, find out what makes me tick and what gets me excited and what I want for my future. There's so much you could learn about yourself, and that's what the Sober Goals program is all about. It's not really about alcohol, it's about you. And it's about finding out who you are and what's going to make you tick. Right? Number 4th reason. If you've got little ones at home, they are watching you, especially more so now that we're under lockdown. If you're in the UK or wherever you are in the world, they're watching. We're learning kids how to deal with frustration, how to deal with not having control of a situation. And the best thing to do with that is to say, right, what can I control? And what steps can I make to make my life more bearable? Not, long term, not just short term. We're not looking for short term gain here. We're looking for long term. We're learning how to delay gratification, because if you put off that, nip for having a drink and you push yourself to do whatever it is that's on your plan, or instead, then you'll be a step closer to being the guy or the girl who can pick up a guitar. Do you know what I mean? You've got to visualize that, and you've got to believe that it's possible for you. And it's little steps. It's all the little decisions that you make that turn you into the person who you are, right? And your kids are watching, so dig deep. You've got to show them how to do that, because one day you might not be here, and they'll remember how to cope with life by what you do, and that's the truth. And then the other thing is, if depending on what your career is currently, you want to look at it as an opportunity to step off the roller coaster. I mean, I think this about lockdown as well, and I know it's really difficult for some people, and people are isolated, people are lonely, but this is the situation that we've got. So can we look at it again? Can you flip it and look at it differently? Can you think of it more as an opportunity to step off that busy lifestyle that we're all, in, and maybe stop with the drink, have some early nights, take your time. And if your job is to turn up online and support your clients, you now have the chance to be the lady boss that your clients deserve you to be. And that's really powerful, because that would have a direct impact on so many other people. It's not just about you, it's about other people that you could also inspire. We have no idea by just coming out and being open about what you've actually achieved, every one of you, even if you're just 2 or 3 days into this, right? What you've achieved even so far, you should be shouting about it, because you could be inspiring other people. And it is hard because you feel like you're going to get shot down in flames. That's what I feel like every single day, especially on my own profile, on my personal profile, because I'm living in a world full of drinkers. It feels like that, but not in here. When you come in here, this isn't a world full of drinkers. It's a safe place where you could come and shout about your success. So I want you to tell us how many days you are. I want you to be shouting about that to each other, so that we're really cheering each other on, because it's a big deal. We're changing lives here, you know. Your life will change because of this. Yes. Turning into a positive direction, absolutely. And if you keep journaling, honestly, the power of that, start looking back now, Angie, at the first journal things that maybe you wrote. Try to think back and look at how far you've come. That would be amazing if you could try and capture that and tell me, because now my job is to show the success that we've had. So Angie, Samantha, Louise, you've all invested in my service. You've got skin in the game, which means that it makes you turn up. It makes you turn up because you're thinking, I've given this woman my bloody money, so I want to know that this is going to work. But I can't come and sit on your sofa and do it for you. You've got to do it yourself. And you're all doing it, and you should be really proud of yourselves, you know. But don't think that's it. You've got to continue to work on yourself. So you should be thinking, right, what's next for me? What part of my life do I want to focus my energy on? And I want to hear all about it. Don't think that that's it, right? We're not talking about drink anymore. Move on. I want you to tell us about what you're doing with your energy. That'll inspire other people in the group as well, and it'll give what ideas. Share some ideas of what your dreams are, what your hopes are. I know I wanted to do a challenge, and it was more about getting fit for me. Along the Northumberland coast, and it's difficult now because all of these brilliant events are all kind of cancelled because of COVID. And yes, you can walk 26 miles yourself, but it's a bit different than being in like if you're being a part of that. So it is hard, but just start small and just keep pushing yourself. Now is the time to think about and visualize who you want to become, right? And just then we're going to think, right, how do you make steps towards that? How can you make a little step toward finding out a little bit more about that thing? So you're like creating a sober identity, or you're creating a new identity, because our identities, especially if you're anything like me, I've been a piss head. That's who I am. That's who I was. The parties. Yes, I had a business, but if I'm honest, the business I chose was just so that it would be an easy life, which would enable me to drink. I've just booked onto a reformer Pilates course. Wow, yes. And it's something else. It's like when my first marriage broke up, and for ages I felt like I was someone's ex, right? And it sounds pathetic, right? But it felt like that was my identity. I had lost who I was, totally lost who I was. And it wasn't until I thought, right, shit with this. I'm going to Australia. And if I'm honest, it was just the most craziest idea, the furthest away place, the most extreme thing I could think of to do. I mean, other people get tattoos. That wasn't strong enough. I wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to physically go somewhere and move away from, but I knew I couldn't do it permanently. So I said, right, I'm going to Australia. And I kept it to myself. I did a little bit of research, and it wasn't until I let it out the bag a little bit and told a couple of people, the response I got, wow, they were more impressed than me. They were like, whoa, wow. And it reminds me of this, when you tell people that you've stopped drinking, or, oh yeah, no, I stopped drinking during the lockdown, oh, I'm 60 days, or oh yeah, now I'm doing my Pilates, or I've signed up to do a Reiki class, or the things you can do online now blows my mind. You don't have to leave the house. It's amazing what you can learn online. But the trick now is to find out what are you interested in. Even if it's a spark of an idea, don't think of it as being silly. Email me and I'll help you. I'll help you ignite that little spark, okay? And it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to involve travel, right? It's just about you dreaming about who you want to become, okay? And whether that's in your career, like I say, in your relationships or whatever, right? So I hope that's inspired you. That's my 5 reasons. Oh yeah, I was thinking about you, Angie. You've told me that you've told people, but you haven't really told me what was the reaction. How did they take it? You should be so proud of yourself. Absolutely. Do you feel, be honest, do you feel like you're hanging on by your fingernails, or do you feel quite like, yeah, I'll be all right? Like if your husband left now, went like away for a few days, and there was alcohol in the house, would you feel tempted? Do you feel like you have turned a corner? Because it's important to go back and reflect, isn't it? And you're going to have such a good grounding of being in the stage 3, bold like Bessie, right? That you're going to have such a long place there, because by the time you can get to go out and, you know, engage, like Elsie, she's engaging in sober life. I feel lovely. Yes, I do. It surprised her. So by the time you're going along to the parties, they've got loads of time to get used to that idea. Just drop a few things on Facebook, start changing their perception of you, because sometimes when we're the type of people that we are, and we do care a lot about our friends and we care what people think, we don't really want to upset the apple cart, but this is your chance to kind of come out slowly, if that makes sense, so that they would recognize, oh, Angie's changing. She's not just going to hit it the first time you get back all together, you know. And that'll be better for you, because you'll have more time to sit with it and feel comfortable with it. Because I know what it's like. I'll bump into friends. I bumped into a drinking friend near the beginning of my journey, and she went, oh, you're still doing that? Oh my God. That'll be it though, surely, for you at the end of this month, is it not? Can we get like things back to normal? And I was thinking, why does it matter so much to them? It's crazy. I don't know if anybody else has got experience of that. They don't get it. People don't get it. My little boy said this the other day. He was like, Mom, I don't understand why it's like people need to make a big deal about not doing something. Surely it's the other way around. You should automatically not do it and then sometimes do the thing. But it's like we've got it the wrong way around. The time off I have now will make me stronger, and it will be my own choice. Absolutely. And you need the self-esteem program as well, because it's about that, and it's about owning your decision, boundaries, and saying, though, even if someone comes and sells you all the benefits of the best cocktail that they've got, and it's laced with gold, right, and sprinkled with unicorn fairy dust, right, you want to go, wow, that sounds amazing, but it's not for me. No, it's okay. I've had loads of them. I've had my share. And if I take one, you just want another one anyway, so you'll be in exactly the same position. Do you know what I mean? But I really want you to be stood there and looking at it differently. I don't want anyone, especially anyone who's paid me money, to be going, oh God, I really just want that unicorn cocktail laced with gold and sprinkled with unicorn dust, because no. And you could ask the barman, can I have one of them but with no alcohol in? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Because these cocktails are made to taste like fruit juice. So just have one without the fruit juice. Like, honestly. And I've done it before. I went on a 16-mile walk with a group of women. And it was a birthday. It was someone's birthday, but they were raising money. So in every pub that we passed, they went in for a drink. And it was fun for them at the beginning because it was like 4 pubs in a row, and then it was about 10 miles to the next pub. And in the first pub I had a coffee, in the second pub I didn't have anything, in the third pub I think I had a glass of water, in the next pub I didn't have anything because I knew that I would have such a long walk without being able to go to the toilet or whatever like that. And they didn't think of any of that. Nah, they were necking them back, right? They were giggling, but I was giggling as well. They didn't have anything that I didn't have. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I had to sit in the other corner and I couldn't be there to hear the laughter and the silliness. You know what I mean? And I honestly believe we could have been stuck in an elevator without anything to drink and it would have been exactly the same crack. It would have, because it wasn't about the alcohol in the glass. It really wasn't. Nobody had had enough for them to be drunk. Do you know what I mean? We were just chatting. And when people sit down and they go, oh, that's better. It takes 20 minutes to get into your system. So that's just like a placebo. That's not true. Right? So we went on this walk and then they were all absolutely wrecked and ratty and so fed up and starving and dying for the toilet. Like, and when I arrived, I had exactly the same journey and I was full of the joys of spring. I felt amazing. I could have turned around and ran all the way back because I felt so good. Do you know what I mean? And it was just times like that, instead of sitting wishing you could drink with them, turn it on its head and think of it as an experiment. You know, I suggested at Christmas that we should look at people who we're sat with who are drinking, or look at who we're sat with who are drinking and think of them, they've just had a coronavirus injection and you're looking for symptoms to see, right, first they start giggling and then later they start just wanting more. And it just continues like that. They want more and more, and then they get a bit ratty, and then they fall asleep. And once you see it for what it is, it changes your whole perception. All right? So I hope that helps. That's it from me. If anyone's got any questions. Yeah. All right. Bye, good night, Sam. Sam's in Australia, so it's bedtime for her. Good night to your daughter. Anybody got any questions on all of that? And the blog post this week is about these 5 reasons why you should keep going. So I'll add a link to that at the bottom of this live video. And I'll see you later. Bye from me.